Hello everybody, welcome back to Disaster Chess. I'm your host Johnny and we're battling our way out of the 400 ELO here. So let's go for a 10-minute rapid game and it's gonna be epic. I've been doing my puzzles, okay? I've been playing daily and I have, as I said, I pulled back the number of games that I played on a single day or every day, but I'm analyzing, I'm doing tactics, doing puzzles, and hopefully we're becoming sharper as time goes. My objective is also to get into Blitz, which are 5-minute games. It's very nice pace, but you do need to have, lines memorized and some tactics at hand because you can't really think every move in real time, right? So this move here is slightly dangerous, but we know how to respond to it, right? You gotta send the queen away. Knight f6 is not really the best option because they can still kind of skirt around it. It would be an alternative, but I find this move is the best one to defend against this kind of aggressive push. This is a very low level attack where they just want to mate you easily doing that. And now because his strategy is gone, he now has to think of something in real time, and you can tell it takes him more time to do that. Now, do we care about this situation here? Not only do we not, but I think we just continue our progression as expected. When we make this move, d6, we actually discover an attack on the queen. He can always take, but then he loses his queen in a stupid way. So he's going to have to move his queen yet again when we make this next move right now. And yes, I do recognize that he can also take here, but we can take back with horse. And he did not see it. He has blundered his queen in move 6. And now, if I was really good at the game, this is just GG, right? He resigns. Okay, let's go for another quick game here. But, I'm still at a level where I can lose winning positions. So I try to never get too cocky, even when you win a queen early on. It can still be lost, can still be thrown. We're gonna do another quick game here. It'll be great. We're battling Iduna 431 from Brazil, which of course I am also from Brazil, so that's gonna be interesting. However, I'm rocking the UK flag, now based in London. So, Iduna, bring your best game, man. May the best player win. Pretty mirror-like opening for us so far. How does he proceed? He's probably looking to develop his bishop somewhere. Yeah, okay. We will proceed like this. We'll actually proceed in a similar way, I think. Now, this is interesting because now we can consider just pinning that knight there, and the knight is kind of useless at this point. He can just break the pin with the pawn, that's true, but this kind of weakens his pawn structure a bit, so I'm not totally unhappy with that. We're just gonna pull back and live with it. He's got a nice little hat structure going for his bishop. So maybe this is intended. And he doubles up on this diagonal. Can he really do much with that? I don't think he can. But in any event, we want to keep developing, right? Is he attacking anything with that? And the answer is no. We could also pin his knight there. Another option would be to bring our knight out here, and if he decides to take, we can take back. So I'm gonna do this. We ask him a question, right? Hey, do you want to take my knight and lose your bishop? In principle, I'm gonna be okay, I think, with that trade. It does kind of screw up with our pawns a little bit, but I don't hate the idea overall. And now what we have a few different options. You could even go like kamikaze and take his knight there. Does that give us any value? Or even something like this, where he now has to take and we can come in? Before we start doing crazy stuff, let's tuck away our king, right? So remain principled. That even if we do want to make this move, we don't need to do it right now. We can wait for a better time to do it. I'm still considering this move. I'm considering as well at some point in the future, we can't right now because of the horse, but I'm considering at some point in the future bringing out my own queen. If we pin... Okay, that's understandable. If we pin this knight to the queen, and then we bring out our own queen, that means his horse could take our queen, but then we take his, and we're in a position that's pretty good. So take back the bishop. He's kind of hunting down our bishop a bit. Now he forces my hand and we have to move away. Or you could also choose to take here. Does that help us? I don't think it does. Pull back, right? What does this sacrifice? It's not a sacrifice, it's a trade, a queen trade. Does this queen trade have any merit? He takes, we take, and then he just takes back at that point. Now this is not sound from him. I definitely question that. But how can we exploit it? How can we exploit it right now? Well, for now, we have to bring back our bishop so that it doesn't die. But is there any way we can exploit that? This poor structure. There is this diagonal, if we could get to it somehow. What is he thinking with this? Is he thinking of trying to push in that way? Do we consider trying to break the center up a bit? Or do we perhaps just bring out our queen in this way to create some additional pressure? Not that we're gonna make this move, of course, but create some additional pressure. You could look to break up things even further by perhaps making this move with the backing of a rook. That could be a thing. What do we think of sacrificing a knight? That doesn't look good because he has two pawn defenders. So my feeling is that the center is very closed. And we have decent development so far. So he chooses to take there. I can respect it. We will take back here. And now he has the choice to take back with the bishop, but he will lose that piece. Okay? So he's now one piece down, and we have a threat on his rook. So he now has to move the rook. So we take the bishop for free with tempo, which is awesome. A lot of this pawn structure here is what we need to try to break up, I think, at this point. So we need to find a way to somehow attack the base of it. Base. And I think that this is a strong way of doing it. So you got an axis to the back now. Even if he moves his rook, now it's two moves he's wasted to like move his rook around to safety. And we now have an in, potentially, to the base of this pawn structure. Although we do it with the light square bishop, can't really attack any of these pawns. So we need to find a way to break things up. It could be as simple as e5. What happens if e5? If e5, he takes back with pawn. And we could choose to take with knight. But then it leaves us in a very poor position when we make that move. So I don't really like it. One thing we can do to make it a little better, a bit more palatable, is to have a rook supporting things here. So now when you go here and they take, you take back. Oh. Oh. Well, now that's interesting, because now I'm going to propose to you a queen trade. That's going to be hard to resist, I think, for him. I am more than happy to simplify at this point. We are 5 ahead, and in terms of material. And it just opens things up, makes it a bit easier for us to navigate this complex situation. We need to break this wall still, right? How do you do it? How do you break that? And he does have this move, by the way. Right, so is there any way we can maneuver the knight around that doesn't lose the knight? I think this is okay for now. We can consider this move, which threatens his rook, and again he has to move the rook, right? Very unhappy with that rook so far for him. And this also allows us to then go here and threaten the other rook potentially. And depending on how he moves this rook, if I can get him to move the rook to b1, that is a forkable square, right? So if we can make that happen, can we orchestrate that? It's like 5-head plays. Different move from him, but that's okay. Now we can no longer go here, but that's fine. Let's not panic, right? What other options do we have? You have this move. So the idea with e2 is you're forking the pawn. More than likely he's going to move his rook. Sorry, we're actually not forking this because it has a defender. So that's kind of not, it's not a very profitable move for us, now that I look at it. And you can't take back here because he takes back. So that was not a good move. Okay, listen. Sometimes you make shitty moves, right? And that's okay. We're going to back out, recognize we made a mistake, and that's okay. We'll live with it. Can we try to get this bishop to go away? Now, this is not bad for us, because all of a sudden we have a file to play with. Ha! Well, that is actually pretty interesting, because now I can do this. Offer a trade of rooks. No, I'm an idiot. Oh, for some reason, I was thinking he would just take the rook, but of course he can just take the pawn. It's bad. Okay, this is why we're still in the 400 elo. We're working on it. Okay, we're working on it. Have some compassion. Have some compassion. So it's bad. How do we come back from that situation? How do we come back from it? I think you gotta give your other rook support, basically, so that this guy has some backup, and then we can start to make some plays, potentially. And he does have bishop support as well. Our bishop was not supported and was hanging. Wow, okay, now my morning brain is totally off the rails and we've lost the advantage. No, we still have a piece advantage, but it's now getting quite dicey because a lot of blunders. It's a lot of blunders, guys. But we can centralize our knight a bit more. So let's try to keep it together. This is an exercise in keeping your composure when things are bad, okay? We'll do our best. His time is actually running fairly low, so we're not doing terrible. It's a recoverable situation, but lots of mistakes here. What do we look at with the knight? Do we have any potential like cool spots for him that we can kind of take advantage of? If not, we also have this option here, right? Okay, that's actually really dangerous. However, I think he doesn't see that he's now put his rooks in a fork. That doesn't seem smart, right? Because even if he attacks, we just take one of his rooks. Right, so now I'm gonna take one of your rooks for a horse. That's a pretty good trade. I'm happy with that. So for us, if we go like here, what do you do to protect this bishop? What's your play? If he goes down here, we simply take, right? There's no complexity with that. And my thing is like this bishop is really sad. Can we do anything with this bishop? Can we trade it for something that we value more? I think that's the right question to ask. For now, I'm just going to give my king some breathing room in case he needs to protect against a back rank check. Now the rook is in danger and we need to protect it. I think that the best we can do is grab the free shit. He's running low on time, 2 minutes left on his clock. We got a +5 on material. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything, right, this move for him. Because we can just go like this. And now we're threatening to take this for free if he doesn't protect it somehow. Again, he still can't go down there. He can't take here because we're protecting with our useless bishop. And that's great. Now, we could open up. We're still protecting with the bishop, but now we're also attacking his rook there. So what does he do here? And again, once he moves his rook from this square, I can now take this pawn for free. And we start to slowly break his goddamn pawn barrier, right? He resigns. Okay, how would we, if we go to the analysis board real quick, how do we continue to play this position? If we go to the last move there, if we take here, he would probably try to grab our bishop. And we could do something like cause his king to have to move. And then go something like this. No, because then he takes... Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to examine this and see how we would actually convert this to a win. But hey, we did actually win the game. And we're a bit closer. We're about 450 rating there. Closer to the 500 mark. So hopefully next week we'll be breaking that 500 ELO. So stay tuned for next week. If you have any comments, suggestions, criticisms, and whatnot, drop them down below. Thanks for watching. The really positive feedback so far. And happy you're tagging along. So stay tuned for more chess. You can catch me on Twitch if you want to see more of it live. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.